Hello, Bebe. It's March the 21st, 2017. It's my 11th video letter to you. Hello, Bebe. I want to remind you of something. It's something that I know that you know. In fact, I know that you know it all too well. In fact, I know that you knew it before I did. But it's something that, from time to time, you'll need to be reminded of. And that is the importance of sincerity. Alright, I'm going to get into all that in a second. First of all, it's been a little while since I made a video letter to you. I've been kind of putting it off for a while. Putting it off for a while is something that I tend to do with certain things. But I realized recently that, we're about due for another video letter. I was actually reminded by your eldest, or actually my eldest niece, one of your cousins, Alyssa. She told me, because she's been watching my old channel and my new channel, and I'll leave a link, I guess, if y'all need it. Everybody else out there. But Bebe, she reminded me that this is something that I definitely need to keep doing. I want to stress that I talk to you all the time. It's unending, right, in my head. And you should know that, but it has been a while since I made one of these videos. Like I said, I feel it's very important before I get into it. Usually I like to include verses in the Bible and stuff in these letters, and that's very important. But not today. I'm actually just started reading the Bible again. I was listening to 1984. I like to take it one book at a time. Just got done with 1984, diving back into the Bible. So I'll find more verses and things like that. But in the meantime, there already is something that I want to talk to you about. And that is the importance of sincerity. Alright? It's extremely important. I'm going to give you an example of people and how we work. If you to go on YouTube right now and look up people trying to say inspirational things to uplift people, to uplift strangers, who might just very well happen upon their videos, right? You're going to hear YouTubers and they're going to look into a camera and they're going to be talking to a camera. In essence, talking to nobody. In essence, talking to everybody, anybody. And they'll be saying things like, keep your head up, alright? And don't give up, and you're not alone, and things of this nature. What I want to impart upon you is that all these people out there saying these things, they're saying these things to a camera, an inanimate object, and then putting it on the internet. All these people out there saying these things, well, in a way, they're saying these things to themselves. They're saying positive things that they wish that somebody would tell them. They want to hear these things. And this is true of every last person who gets up on the internet and tries to encourage other folks. Man, you just got to keep going. I know that problems are getting real tough. They're getting worse and worse. They're getting heavier and heavier, the yoke that you have on you. Alright, so they go on the internet and they say these things, these positive things, and really they are saying them to themselves, and it's very therapeutic in lots of ways. I believe that it is a good direction that people are going, that they're telling these things not only to anybody on the internet, but also to themselves. They're speaking to themselves. When you really meditate on that whole process, the fact that people who are feeling lonely and who are feeling depressed will go in front of a camera and tell the camera, hey, look, you're going to get through this. You're not alone. See, they're talking to themselves. So it's while meditating on this process that you realize that, when you're being insincere, like, for example, if you're being insincere to a camera, you will be talking to yourself. Inevitably, you are talking to yourself when you're being insincere to those around you. The truth is that you're being insincere to yourself. And see, that's what's going to mess up a lot of people's brains. They should not be insincere to themselves. We don't all know it. None of us know the truth, the exact truth, nothing but the truth out here. But the problem is that some people are insincere to others around them, not understanding that, inevitably you're being insincere to yourself is going to cause all sort of confusion. Right? This is the problem with idle words, as mentioned in the Bible. No, not IDOL, which is bad. That is a bad thing. No, but IDLE, idle words. Because see, your idle words, and we all have them. I've said a million of them. Your idle words really, when you break it down, are insincere. They'll always be insincere. So those of us with idle words in our mouths and we keep spouting them out, we're telling them to other people, but it is going to come back to us. We are telling ourselves insincere things, and that is a problem with idle words. And the thing is, you know that better than I know that. You've always embodied this. I've never once in my life heard you say an idle word. Yet and still, we've always been able to communicate just fine. And isn't that interesting? See, people are being insincere with themselves. This is how they're driving themselves further into confusion. Because they're being insincere with everybody else. Now, the thing about me is I can't even say that I'm virtuous in this sort of way. Like, I can't tell you that I'm always sincere with everybody by choice, because I'm not. I have to explain this. Problem with me is that I'm sincere at all times regardless. I'm just not good at being insincere. And I do mean that it is a problem. Because like it or not, it drives people away from me. The fact that I just don't even have the ability to be insincere. Sometimes, in my head, I wish I could be insincere and get away with it. I can't. Alright, but, some people out there, they're finding all sort of capabilities to be as insincere as humanly possible out there. And sometimes it's a little bit, sometimes it's a lot of bit, but it is a slippery slope. And I know that you know that. I just wanted to remind you. Alright, and then before I get out of here, I wanted to share a story with you. Alright, it's about your grandfather. Now, your grandfather's not perfect at all. I want to stress that. But I do have to give him this. First of all, he has to be the one who basically started me off in that kind of direction. Like I said, he's not perfect, but I don't know anybody else who's trying to start me off into the direction of Jesus, where I happened to find him and started realizing how important he is. Alright, you would have to give that to your grandfather. Alright, and the trouble with him, back when I was growing up, and saying when I was a child and stuff. Shoot, man. Here's the thing about him. He was the last one to know about anything, say in our household, things of that nature. The last one, always to know about anything. Because the thing is, I remember vividly not wanting him to know about anything. We didn't want discipline. We didn't want to get the discipline that he had to dole out. So we would put off the inevitable and we would not tell this dude anything, all right? And I want to stress to you, it's not because he wasn't smart. He's a very smart dude, that he didn't know anything. We kept it away from him purposefully just so that we wouldn't get the discipline that was coming after he found out. Whatever it is that we did, we were always getting into something. All right? A lot of insincerity given to him. A lot of misdirection. In my childhood, and I had two brothers, and all of us were just trying to keep things under wraps. And all this time, I can count on one hand people who I not only could be sincere with, but say whatever I want to, because the thing is, people know friends and people that we know on the internet, and we tell them things. Some of us very sincerely, we tell these people stuff, but we don't tell you anything and everything that's on our minds. We save that for people that we know personally. And your best bet is someone in your family, that you could trust them, tell them anything. My father, man, it wasn't like that when I was growing up. Only recently did I figure out that, what? Now that I'm grown and stuff, our relationship has evolved, me and him. And at this point, even though we disagree on a lot, I'm talking about a lot. I'm talking about he gave money to Bernie Sanders, all right? We disagree about a lot. Yet still, it's only recently that I figured out that, man, I could talk with him about anything. Anything. There's very, very few people that we could do that with. There's very few people that any of us out here can do that with. In fact, some of us don't have one person that we can tell anything that's on our minds. And not only that, expect justice afterwards. Expect to be heard. Expect to be considered. It's very few people. I think it's paramount that we find these people, whoever they might be in our lives and stuff, and get this out, because there's so much pressure being built up during the tribulation that you're going to want to get this out. You got some things way deep down in your mind that are causing questions, concerns, confusion, and you're going to want to get that out to somewhere, to vent to somebody, particularly who you know in life. You're going to want someone like that around you. Right? Because when people don't have that around them, it ends up quite tragically. Most often, this is a tribulation. And I'll holler at you next time. I will have some more Bible verses and stuff. So stay tuned. Alright? I'll holler at you. It's March the 21st, 2017.